Hello, I'm Eve Jackson in Paris. This is Culture. Coming up. Born to dance, we head to the Avignon Festival for a mixture of Pacific prancing and Jean-Paul Gaultier style. A piano that travels the world. We'll meet the man who shows us that pianists can busk too. And breakups, isolation and growing older. The lead singer from Plants and Animals is here from Montreal to tell us about his third reflective album. Thanks for joining us, Warren Spicer. Welcome to the show. Thanks for being here.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Now, just to start off with, are you a fan of the theatre?
I don't go to see a lot of theatre, but whenever I get a chance, I'm always glad I did.
Okay,
yeah.
Well, this might save you a bit of time. And we're going to start with the next in our series from Avignon in the south of France, where the world's biggest theatre festival is taking place. Costumes from Jean-Paul Gaultier, dancing from the Pacific, venue the sunny south of France. Say no more, Luc Schrago reports on the show Very Wetch.
For Régine Chopinot, 4 years of hard work are finally coming to fruition. The choreographer's been working with traditional dancers from the Lifu Islands since 2009 on a production called Very Wetch.
Wetch, it means today is going well, it's very good. Instead of saying very nice, it's very wetch. We are born dancers. We were cradled by our grandmothers, and even in the belly of our mothers. Cradled by gestures, by singing.
Régine went looking for that kind of instinct around the whole world. She finally found what she was looking for in the Pacific Islands, what she felt as a kind of freedom or sensuality.
They convey their art in the same way as us dancers, as an oral tradition. It's about everything that's felt, everything that is emotion. With them, I cultivate memory and choreographic art. They have a link to time and space. Their dance is the dance of savants.
Chopinot never lost sight of old habits on her travels, however. Like asking Jean-Paul Gaultier to create the costumes. The designer and the choreographer have known each other for 30 years.
I kept their traditions, their traditional accessories, even while transforming them, and mixing them along with contemporary elements from the West, even from sports, such as racing trousers and so on. It's as much a mix as it is a hybrid.
A fusion of old and new. It seems Very Wetch has found just the right bewitching balance between both worlds.
Will join us again tomorrow for the next in our series from the Avignon Festival. Now, Warren, have you ever busked?
I have, yeah, I have.
And what do you take with you when you go busking?
Well, I was backing up a guy, so I was playing guitar, and he was kind of a juggler, entertainer type.
But you normally bring light things with you, don't you?
Well, yeah, not a piano.
Well, in our next report, we meet the musician who's travelling around the world with his piano, as Solange Mougin reports.
Believing in yourself, even when you're off-key, is part of pianist Marc Vella's philosophy. At the end of his concerts, he invites those who've never touched a piano to tune into their creativity, a magical experience for some of his concert-goers.
He's extraordinary. All the messages that are behind his music, they're marvelous.
Reaching out to others, Marc Vella wants to bring music out into the open. He has a history of ditching concert halls and hitting the streets. In 1987, Vella was 20 years old, and for the first time, his piano became a traveling music box, an adventure he couldn't resist.
Life is made for this kind of folly. It's just too short not to live for it.
A new way to go on tour, his trek took him to Paris for World Youth Day. His idea to reach out to the world.
Every time you meet someone, you learn something. That's why I'm here. I know I'm going to meet loads of people and learn from them.
On the road between the West and the East, a musical peace train was born. Marc Vella traveled to Beirut in 2010 and then continued on to Damascus, Syria. After 200,000 kilometers and 40 countries, Marc Vella is now 50 years old. He makes a living from his music and the books he writes about what he's learned on the road.
There's a new awareness out there, one where you don't believe in a religion, but you do have faith. Not religious faith, but faith in life, in what we are, with our good sides and bad. Faith in our ability to welcome the world as we are.
Vella's caravan will hit the road again in 2013 with a tour of India.
Next, they started as a self-titled instrumental project in 2002. Now on their third album, the Canadian band Plants and Animals seem to have rather a lot to say. This is called Light Show from the record The End of That.
I was cut open on the way down, reeling from the blow.
Warren, welcome again to the show. Now, The End of That is the title of the album. What's come to an end?
Well, I guess the idea was that, I guess what I wanted to come to an end was kind of not telling the truth or not being able to face the truth. And, you know, a relationship also came to an end, but I think there was more to it than just that, because it's that relationship isn't really over, so.
Okay, well, you're talking about breakups, isolation, growing older. These things are obviously on your mind. Have you come to that sort of age where you're looking at adulthood and what it means and looking at people around you, do you think?
Yeah, well, that's what's going on the record, really, was just kind of, kind of hit a point in life where, I don't know, a lot of other people I knew were doing other things with their lives and playing in a band and making that choice and trying to figure out, where I was going or where I am going at a certain age when a lot of other people have kind of figured out where they're going.
Is it hard to have a normal life, or is it even possible to have a normal life while playing a band?
Yeah, I think so, more or less normal.
Now, the record doesn't really offer any answers. It's kind of a reflection. I mean, did you find any answers while you were making it?
Maybe as a result of making it, I found some answers. But while doing it, it was more just a means of kind of whatever I was going through at that time just kind of came out on the spot, and then I guess in reflection, it feels like, I mean, whenever you put that much of yourself out, I kind of did it knowing that I might not necessarily regret it, but it's not something you kind of prepare to have to deal with over and over and over again. But I should have thought about that, because I play shows all the time.
So every time you're actually playing this music, is it like revisiting it, or is it a bit like closure and sort of therapy then?
Maybe a bit of both. I mean, it also. They also just become songs, you know. They're not always the kind of emotions that went into making them don't always come back every time you play them. You know, you can play a song that you wrote when you were sad, but through playing it, you can look back on it and kind of make light of it and feel better about it, I guess.
Now, you recorded the album just outside of Paris. I read that towards the end you were feeling a bit sort of stressed and not really feeling it, and then a grumpy old Frenchman came in and gave you some inspiration. Tell us about that.
Well, you know, we tried to record a record in a couple of weeks, and that wasn't really enough time for us to do it properly, and we just started getting really stressed out because we knew we weren't going to finish what we wanted to finish, and it was a journée de congé of some kind. I can't remember which one, but anyways, the neighbor was out in his backyard with his family and didn't really want to hear us making a record, so he came over and you know, got in a discussion with Olivier, the studio owner, and
polite.
Yeah. And so we had to kind of shut it down, and through that we just kind of realized that we also needed to maybe take some more time to do this. And I don't know, it was just kind of one of those moments where just when you thought it couldn't get worse, it got worse, but then it kind of just turned into kind of a cartoon, because it was just getting so intense that it kind of just broke us down to being, I don't know, it made us laugh.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank goodness for grumpy French people.
Yeah.
Warren, thanks for joining us on the show. And just to remind you guys at home, Plants Animals' new album is called The End of That, and they'll be playing live at the Nouveau Casino this evening. Next, what makes the art of today different from 100 years ago? Well, one answer is the kinds of space in which it's shown. For the past 50 years, reclaimed industrial space has replaced traditional galleries to showcase avant-garde art. London's Tate Modern has taken this idea to a whole new level. They've converted the museum's underground oil tanks belonging to the converted power station into a pioneering performance space. The tanks are dedicated to live art and film.
I really hope people get a sense that art is a living thing that's changing, that you can experience in the moment. You know, I think lots of press about art often focuses on auction prices and the object and how much does an artwork cost. This is really about being there, experiencing something extraordinary and new, and that's as much what artists are interested in as making something that lasts forever on a wall.
Can't wait to see that. Now, just before we go, I wanted to ask you, did you ever watch I Love Lucy or Bewitched?
Not a lot, no. But I know the Bewitched. I think I would remember the song.
Okay, well, tributes are being paid to William Asher, the director of classic TV shows such as I Love Lucy and Bewitched, who passed away this week. We're going to leave you with those iconic opening titles. Remember to follow us on Facebook. You can follow me on Twitter @EvelynInParis. Thanks for watching. See you next time.